Once again, I need you to listen with your ears and not your triggers, because what I'm about to say is going to stir something up, but it's not you I'm stirring, it's your resistance. It's the part of you that doesn't want to hear this, because your wounds have gotten very comfortable blaming someone else for the pain. But what if they're not the reason? What if I told you they didn't break your heart, you did? And that's not shame, that's power. Because if you broke it, then you can heal it. Here's why. When a relationship ends, we act like something was stolen from us. But what you're really grieving is not them. It's the version of you that existed when you were with them. The version that felt seen, wanted, chosen. You're mourning the identity that you felt safest in. You're mourning a dream that gave you a role to play in someone else's future. That dream, it was never guaranteed. That's the heartbreak. You're not suffering the past, you're suffering the collapse of what was supposed to happen next. The wedding or the home, the growing old together. It wasn't love that broke you, it was the fantasy that came with it. And what you really did was this, you cathected. Cathexis is a psychological term when we invest deep emotional energy into someone, something, or some future vision. You didn't just love them, you infused them with meaning. You built stories around them. You charged them with hope, with safety, with healing. And when that dream ended, you were still emotionally entangled in it. That's why it hurts so much, because the dream collapsed and you never pulled yourself out of the rubble. And that's where decathexis comes in. Decathexis is the process of taking that energy back, not just letting go of the person, but retrieving the parts of you that were still stuck inside the rubble of what could have been. You don't need closure, you need decathexis. You need to unhook from the illusion, not because you never cared, but because you can't keep bleeding over a future that never happened. That's how you stop breaking your own heart. So many of us were not just grieving a partner, we were grieving the unmet needs that we carried since childhood. The longing to be chosen, to feel safe, to feel enough. And when someone came along and made us feel that, even for a little while, we didn't just fall in love with them. We fell in love with the idea that maybe the wound was finally healing. And for many of us, there's another layer. We're not just mourning the person or the dream, we're also subconsciously mourning the time we invested, time we think we'll never get back, time we now feel was wasted. But let me tell you, it wasn't wasted, because now you know more than you did when you began. And that's not failure, that's data. And you have a choice. You can let that experience live in your mind as information, or you can store it in your heart as disturbance. But disturbance will close you. Information will grow you. Use it. Use it to clarify how you want love to feel. Use it to express your standards freely and openly in your next relationship. Because that's how you stop repeating the same pattern and start leading yourself through it. And here's something else I need you to hear. Maybe more than anything else in this whole video. If you get nothing else, take this. The real time waster, it's not the relationship. It's you storing the disturbance, because that disturbance is what's closing you, not them, not what happened. It's the unprocessed pain that you kept because it felt safer than facing it. But that disturbance is robbing you. It's robbing you of presence, robbing you of connection, robbing you of the very thing you say you want, vulnerability, love, and intimacy. And instead of moving forward, here's what happens. That voice starts playing in your head. You're not enough. You're too much. Everyone leaves. They're all the same. All men suck. All women are crazy. These are voices in your head, but you are not those voices. You're the one that hears those voices. And those voices are the wounds left behind by disturbance. Please see this. You are breaking your own heart in these moments, not because of what happened, but because of the story you are still telling yourself about it. And I'm urging you now to resuscitate and resurrect the parts of you that you broke. The parts that you suppressed, the parts that you decided were too much, because those are the pieces that are wasting time now. Not because they're broken, but because they've been buried under the rubble. And I know some people will say, well, they cheated. I lost the house, I lost money, I lost time with my kids. And I get it. It's painful. But you still placed your peace on an outcome. You bet on a person that didn't protect your investment. But here's the truth. The casino doesn't owe you a win just because you walked in with good intentions. You assume they'd always act in your best interest. You expected the relationship to deliver everything our culture promised it would: security, intimacy, stability, identity. But that's the setup. We expect modern love to give us what an entire village used to. And when it doesn't, we don't just lose a partner, we lose the scaffolding that we built ourselves on. Don't confuse their betrayal with your worth. Their choice reveals them, not you. And the longer you wait for them to become someone they never were, the more of you give away. If they keep folding the hand, stop playing at their card table. And now you're scared to love again. But you're not scared to love again. You're scared to lose a bet disguised as love. So now you hold back. You love small. You play it safe. But let me say this. Love given as a gift never runs out. Love given as a reward can bankrupt you, especially if you're waiting for it to be returned. And if you're angry it wasn't returned, if it was truly a gift, you wouldn't be mad that it wasn't returned. You would just see clearly they weren't ready to receive it. Love isn't scarce. It's only limited when you turn it into a reward system. Love is not a contract. It is not a performance. Love is a posture. And if you need it to be returned in order to feel whole, then you weren't giving love. You were negotiating safety. So what now? You surrender the script. You let go of the ghost. Letting go doesn't mean you failed. It means you stop clenching a ghost and you stop chasing apologies just to feel peace. Peace doesn't come when they apologize. Peace comes when you stop needing them to. You don't need them to rewrite the story. You need to stop living the one that never came true. Healing isn't about rewriting the story. It's about releasing the script entirely. And when you do, you don't lose your ability to love. You get it back. You don't need to stop loving. You need to stop gambling with people that don't play fair. And the next time you love, don't bet your identity on the outcome. Love because it's who you are, not because you're trying to win. Because here's what will happen if you don't get this. You'll walk back into the emotional casino and you'll only bet the chips that you're not afraid to lose. But those chips, they'll be the safest, smallest parts of you. Meanwhile, you'll keep your real heart locked away. And eventually, you'll bet your identity again. You'll entangle who you are with whether or not someone stays, behaves, or chooses you. And this whole message, this entire video, is trying to show you how to stop doing that, how to love without losing yourself, how to love them freely and shine like the sun. The sun doesn't shine as a reward. It doesn't shine for approval. It doesn't shine impartially. It shines because that's what it does. So shine. Not to earn, not to barter, but just because that's who you are. So before you scroll away, name something, either from your own life or someone you love, that you or they told themselves. A belief you stored as a disturbance after a falling out or a relationship that didn't go the way you wanted it to. Something like, I'm too much. No one ever stays. They're all the same. It's always my fault. That belief didn't just sit there quietly. It started driving. It started shaping what you believed you deserved. So drop in the comments, name the belief, because once you can see the disturbance clearly, you can stop letting it close your heart. And then you can finally move forward. And if you're ready to go even deeper, grab my book, Who's Talking? It's available on Amazon. It's a roadmap to emotional intelligence and self-mastery. Also, I do one-on-one coaching. Also, if you're watching this video, make sure it's the real me. I only follow 2 people, Jeep Chick and Alana. There's a bunch of imposter accounts. Never send me money unless you have FaceTimed me. There's a bunch of fake accounts trying to get people's money, so it's not me. I think that's it. I hope this makes sense. If not, well, sorry I wasted 10 minutes of your life. See you next time.